Speaking section. The speaking section tests your ability to communicate in English in an academic setting. During the test, you will be presented with 4 speaking questions. The questions ask for a response to a single question, a talk, or a lecture. The prompts and questions are presented on time. You may take notes as you listen, but notes are not graded. You may use your notes to answer the questions. Some of the questions ask for a response to a reading passage and a talk or a lecture. The reading passages and the questions are written, but the directions will be spoken. Your speaking will be evaluated on both the fluency of the language and the accuracy of the content. You will have 15 to 20 seconds to prepare and 45 to 60 seconds to respond to each question. Typically, a good response will require all of the response time and the answer will be complete by the end of the response time. You have about 17 minutes to complete the speaking section. A clock on the screen will show you how much time you have to prepare each of your answers and how much time you have to record each response.
You will now be asked a question about a familiar topic. After you hear the question, you will have 15 seconds to plan your response and 45 seconds to speak.
Do you agree or disagree with the statement, social media has a negative impact on mental health?
You will now read a short passage and then listen to a conversation on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about the passages. After you hear the question, you will have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. You have 45 seconds to read the passage below.
Have you seen the email about the final project? Partner presentations? Seriously?
Yeah, I saw it. Cool, right? 2 heads are better than 1, and it'll be good practice for group projects in the future.
Maybe for some, but I get so nervous relying on someone else. Remember Maya last semester? Her partner ghosted her on the whole research paper, leaving her scrambling at the last minute. Her grades tanked because of him.
I see your point. However, the professor said they'll consider individual contributions during grading. And besides, they're pairing us based on compatibility. Chances are you'll get someone reliable.
I guess, but even with a good partner, timing isn't ideal. Everyone's buried in exams by the end of the semester. Finding time to meet, coordinate, and practice a decent presentation feels near impossible. Plus, with everyone stressed, who's even in the mood to listen to our presentations actively? I foresee bored faces and a disappointed professor.
You make a valid point. Maybe we could talk to the professor about adjusting the timeline or offering individual presentation options.
Yeah, that's an idea. Or maybe suggest alternative assessment methods that emphasize individual efforts while still incorporating some collaborative aspects.
Worth a shot. Let's brainstorm some ideas and present them to the class. Maybe we can convince the professor to see things our way.
The woman expresses her disagreement with the collaborative presentation format for the final project. Briefly summarize her two main concerns based on the reasons mentioned in the passage.
You will now read a short passage and then listen to a lecture on the same topic. You will then be asked a question about the passage. After you hear the question, you have 30 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. You have 45 seconds to read the passage below. You may begin reading now.
Now listen to part of a lecture in a biology class. Today, we're going to discuss the concept of the primacy effect and its impact on our perceptions. Let me share a personal example from my experience as a research assistant. In my first week, I made a positive suggestion during a team meeting, which caught the attention of my boss. From that point on, he perceived me as exceptional and capable. On the other hand, a coworker made a significant mistake during her initial week, leading our boss to label her as unreliable. Interestingly, despite subsequent variations in our performance, these enhancements persisted. My boss continued to view me favorably, even when I made occasional mistakes, while my coworker faced ongoing scrutiny, even when she excelled in other areas. This example clearly illustrates how the primacy effect can create enduring perceptions based on initial judgments, impacting individuals' expectations regardless of later achievements or mistakes.
Explain how the example from the professor's lecture illustrates the concept of the primacy effect.
You will now listen to part of a lecture. You will then be asked a question about it. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak.
Listen to part of a lecture in a child psychology class.
Today, we're going to explore the psychological benefits of play in children, specifically how it contributes to their emotional development. Play is not just a recreational activity, it serves a vital role in shaping a child's psychological well-being. There are two key ways in which play benefits children's emotional development. Firstly, play provides children with a sense of control. Through play, children have the opportunity to make decisions and exercise their autonomy. They can choose which toys to play with and how to interact with them. For example, when playing with building blocks, children can decide how to construct something, giving them a psychological sense of control and ownership over their play experience. Secondly, play allows children to safely express their urges and emotions. Children often have natural urges that may be considered inappropriate in other contexts. During play, they can explore and express these urges in a safe and acceptable way. For instance, a child may have the desire to be destructive, but through play, they can act out these behaviors without causing harm or upsetting their parents. By providing a sense of control and allowing for the safe expression of urges, play becomes a crucial element in fostering children's emotional well-being and psychological development. It allows them to navigate their emotions, make choices, and learn important social skills, ultimately contributing to their overall emotional growth.
Using points and examples from the lecture, explain 2 ways that play contributes to children's emotional development.